royal family has weighed into the battle to save the most endangered animals in the world. Prince William wants to destroy the royal family's historic collection of ivory to show his support for endangered species, but it could be too late for dozens of animals. Have a look. 100 elephants will be killed across Africa today, and the slaughter continues every day. Their tusks are hacked off to satisfy demand for ivory, mostly in China. But ivory is just one part of the illegal wildlife trade, now worth more than $20 billion a year. 16 animals are critically endangered, including leopards, gorillas and rhinos. Another 33 animals are endangered: pandas, polar bears and tigers. Within a few years, many of them will be gone from the wild, with a few clinging to life in zoos like this one. Now, the rhinos we just saw there are on the brink of extinction, but Aussie Ray Dearlove is working hard to save them through the Australian Rhino Project. Ray, thanks for being with us. You launched this project in December, but you say that we should import more rhinos into Australia.
Yeah, the plan, Sarah, is that because of the possible extinction of these animals in the wild and stress in the wild, is that what they're trying to do in South Africa, which holds 95% of the rhino population already, is move them to safer areas. And frankly, I mean, the South African authorities have already said that there is no particular safe area. So our plan is to bring in a group of rhino to supplement those that are already at Taronga out at Dubbo, and that's an issue perhaps.
Taronga Zoo in New South Wales, in Sydney, and also the Dubbo Zoo, which is in New South Wales.
Zoo, yeah. Western Plains Zoo, but not in Sydney. They'll be out in Western Plains Zoo because they basically run free as much as they possibly can. So to bring that in as a, as we term it, an insurance population, just in case of extinction. So that is the plan.
Reading, the background information, I cannot believe, what was it, 70 rhinos have been killed already this year in South Africa.
Yes.
Why is that happening?
The numbers actually are 1 every 8 hours. That's the number which has actually been published. There are 15 known syndicates that operate through Mozambique. So you've got the Indian Ocean, Mozambique, the Kruger National Park, which holds by far and away the greatest population of rhinos in the world. And the poachers come across the borders. They are highly paid relative to their income and their status in life, quite frankly. And they come and shoot the rhino, irrespective, mother, child, whatever it might be, hack the horn off, dash across the border, through to Maputo, and then into China and Vietnam. Those are the biggest users. Now, I mean, this has been going on for probably centuries in many ways, but now it's absolutely escalated for a number of reasons. One is that the kind of quality of life, standard of life in Asian countries is rising, so more people are able to afford this. There's this mistaken belief that the rhino horn specifically can cure anything from cancer to improve your sexual performance to literally hangovers. The biggest users today in China are the demographic of young men in the ages 18 to 27 who do whatever they do with this rhino horn, and in the belief that it either prevents or cures hangovers.
So by bringing the rhinos to Australia, you hope to breed them? Is that the idea?
That's exactly
and then
right.
Send them back around the world again?
That's exactly the plan. Is that we'll be kind of guardians. That's the plan here. And with the partnership that we have, the Australian Rhino Project has, is with Taronga Zoo and the University of Sydney Business School and Vet School. And the plan is to bring in more rhinos here, establish a breeding herd using as a base those rhinos really. They're black and white at Western Plains Zoo, with the eventual intention that once things stabilise, and please God they do, whenever that might be, is that they'll be reintroduced back into Africa, not necessarily into South Africa, but into Africa in the wild. I mean, I must stress that point. Deb was just saying that she was lucky enough to see a black rhino in Kenya a couple of years ago. That is very, very fortunate.
But how does the general public get involved in saving the rhino?
In this particular instance? Well, the first thing is raising awareness, and thank you for giving us this opportunity here. We're launching, there are 3 basic pillars to this thing. One is getting Australian government approval, because the Australian government quarantine laws are without exception, most stringent in the world, for all good reason. It's an island.
I don't want to be flipped, but maybe you put the rhinos on a boat.
Yes, the no-as-are concept is certainly one that's been suggested. The stress on the rhinos would be too great, quite frankly, because the trip across the Indian Ocean would not be...
Are they fragile? in that regard.
Certainly the blacks are, the white rhinos are very gregarious in many ways. The blacks are, as one of the Taronga caretakers said, they've got attitude, which they are. They're kind of loners, they're aggressive, and two very different species.
So you need the Australian government to say, tick,
yes.
we will import rhinos in
Correct.
for the breeding program.
Yes.
And
the second one is to get the South African authorities to agree, and that I'm perhaps naively believe is less of an issue. I'll be there in 10 days' time to try and finish that. And the plan, is that these will be on loan from the South African government to Australia, much the same way as the current ones are here. We're on loan from Zimbabwe, and that with the belief that they go back. And the third pillar is fundraising. So how can the public get involved is awareness, lobby whoever you can lobby, and then give us some money at some stage and go. Because it's an expensive exercise. It's the biggest mammal on the planet, second biggest, obviously after elephant. Sorry, my time, and but it's the oldest mammal on the planet. So that's our plan.
It is important if people are thinking of giving money, though. It is important to know about rhinos. They do charge a lot.
Yeah. Ray, thank you very much for coming on the show. It was great to chat with you.